Okay, Roya, before I actually pass over the stage to you, and some of the gentlemen probably do not know, or ladies and gentlemen do not know who we are and what do we do. Well, briefly, we are actually a solution provider for this performance management. And Doerhrm is actually a company that we set up 3 years ago with our focus into helping our clients to build teamwork that deliver results. Okay. Now, this teamwork is not just happy teamwork, but a teamwork that once we build, it will deliver the result. And how do we actually do it? Well, actually from two segments. Number one, that is actually from the solution, software solution, which is from KPI, a combination of OKR with some of other tools. All right. And another part will be our education. Yes, we have been producing videos after video and also webinar. Yes, and we hope by doing this, we will be able to provide this education to the market to be able to build teamwork that deliver results. And in fact, today's topics, we are actually going to talk about optimizing what it is, resilience, right? To have this efficiency to address our VUCA world. Okay, what is VUCA? VUCA stands for volatility, uncertainty, complex, and what? Ambiguous. Ambiguities. Okay, without further ado, let's put our hand together to welcome Roya.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the nice introduction, and it's a pleasure to be here today with all of you. I start sharing my slides first, and yeah, we are going to discuss about optimizing our resilience to keep up efficiency in VUCA situation. We all heard about this VUCA, and all the commentators are talking about VUCA world, and we use, for example, VUCA volatile market, all sorts of things. But I think that for sure the most recent COVID-19 pandemic was the toughest experience of everyone, whether in person, whether in your business. We catapulted into a constantly changing environment, and we had to go by the daily announcement where the situation was totally unpredictable. So things were interconnected and affected each other. We all remember, for example, the deficiency in global supply chain, in hospitals, for frontliners. And I want you to track down the acronym into the next slide, where volatile is the constantly changing environment that we have to adapt day by day. Like we were sharpening our eyes and ears for a new SOP every day. I think that everyone knows that SOP is for a standard operation procedures. In different countries, like in Australia or New Zealand, we had different types of announcement by the governments. What they think is the volatility of the situation where remain the same. So we had to alter a lot to adapt with the new situation. Uncertainty, it goes to unpredictability of the situation. We cannot know what's the next step. Complex, it was the interconnected elements of the operation, be it from outside, for example, as I said, our dependency to global supply chain, or what would happen in the hospitals. That was a complex situation. But the ambiguity is unfamiliarity of us with, because our traditional management wouldn't work. And our skills, our expertise were not matching with the situation. We couldn't have a relevant response to the situation. So what is different? What is this presentation going to do differently about VUCA? It's aiming to present you a roadmap that develops tools to assist you to act differently, to succeed, to come up better from a VUCA situation whenever you deal with it. To succeed with any situation, first of all, we always need to know what we already know. We realized, for example, during the COVID, our systems, our businesses can be very fragile. There are so many risks threatening our systems, and the COVID-19 only was a very big alert to our system. Our environment is constantly changing, and as I said, the traditional long-term planning didn't work for the VUCA. Predictions may not be valid, and we learned our lessons. I want you to raise your hand if you have given yourself the opportunity, or for yourself or for your organization, for your business, a chance to wrap up the lessons you learned in the past 2 years. I recall the few, you did good response. I recall the few, and I want you to personalize and add to the list based on your experience. The point is to enable us to hover around all this when we initiate the tools. So how can we learn from a crisis differently? Why is it important? I was reading an article the other day from McKinsey & Company, and it was talking about the notion of transformation. I thought I will use this concept in my presentation today because transformation these days is not only about a financial and business model. Transformation is very holistic and comprehensive concept. So in other words, transformation will happen when you change, or you can take an action differently. How you take an action differently? You need to change what you feel, what you believe, and what you know in order to be able to take a different action. So we need to collect all the information about VUCA, about the experience of the past 2 years, which was the worst case, to acknowledge what we have been through, and to gather information about what we know, to change our feeling and beliefs in order to be able next time to take better action, to come up better from this situation. And we also know, we heard, all of us, that the crisis would be very often being climate change, being other disasters, being economic recessions. So we know that this is not the only one, maybe the worst one in a while, but we have to empower and upskill ourselves and our businesses for the future. So I borrowed this term, learn what, learn how, from there is a book called The Fearless Organizations by Dr. Amy Emerson. I thought this is a very relevant alliteration for our purpose. So let's start with the terms of Vuca one by one. So volatility is when our environment is constantly changing and it's very rapid. The situation is we already set up a lot of long-term planning strategy, excuse me, for our business. It doesn't work, it doesn't help. So instead, what we did and what we should do is gather data in short term. You kind of trade off your short-term achievement for long-term stability, sustainability of your business. We had this experience, all of us, that we wanted our business to stay alive, but no matter what, some of us changed our plans, line of production, or many small changes that was helping us to adapt with the situation, but stay alive. So that is technically called trading short-term achievements for long-term stability. And in other words, is continuously gathering data, asking different questions, and create better choices. And that is actually continuously adapting with the situation. Uncertainty. Well, we made legitimate prediction. We had set up our long-term strategies, but we came up in a situation that our well-established routines, they are not working anymore. We can't predict what is tomorrow. So in normal situation, what you do is you look at your system and ask different situations. Remember what are the visible risks and how do you manage them? If you are working in a high-risk business, you probably have, and you should, hopefully you have a risk management, a risk assessment, you have for health and safety risk management, you have for financial risk assessment, and you have visible risks, and you know how to manage them. So you have your elimination or mitigation process in place. But when it comes into VUCA, the nature of risk is different. It's not something that you can predict. Every day you have a different situation. So what would you do? You have to continuously monitor and stay vigilant and ask various questions. What may work? What may not work? What if one thing that works today doesn't work tomorrow? Like, for example, in a business, you could work one day and you didn't know what will be announced next day. What you have to do to adapt with a new situation. So a clear example is what we did during the pandemic. We had to constantly, for example, have this social distancing. We had to suddenly work from home. We have to update with whatever we would be eligible to. So this is a kind of learning and deepening your knowledge, your data, to increase the capacity to have the uncertainty. In fact, we can't manage uncertainty. In normal situation, you manage the risk. We call it risk assessment, risk management. But in uncertainty, what happens? You can manage one thing that is uncertain, but you increase your capacity to have the uncertainty. In terms of complexity, well, complexity, it actually means the interrelated and interconnected operation. Whether your system is a high risk operation or is a low risk, but you have to deal with the complexity of other interconnected things with your situation business. For example, as I said, the global supply chain. We were not able to have masks. We were not able to have our essentials because the whole supply chain was broken. One thing that is very important about complexity is that is increasing the risks. Physical risks, your health or mental risks, or financial risks. So you can't overlook, you can't ignore it. You never would be able to ignore the complexity. What you can do is to learn how to deal with it. You illustrate with transparency and clarity. One thing that commentator about Vuca notify and emphasize very much is the clarity and transparency during the Vuca. You and your employees have to know everything about the complex situation. What are the risks and what we can do and we can't do about it. Now, ambiguity. First, it comes from our unfamiliarity with the environment. The routine procedures, the routine way we do conduct doesn't work. We can't use our traditional tools. We can't help to lead, manage, or practice all the strategies or procedures we had before. But what we can do, there are two main things that I found in my research that helps us to clarify the ambiguity, to help us to deal with the situation. One is effective communication, and the second is psychological safety. I want to go in more detail for each component of ambiguity. Communication is key to attain clarity, because specifically when you're continuing, for example, at this moment, working from home or hybrid work, if you don't do this communication with a clear methods, you will still be in a vague situation. For example, make sure your employees have the right technology. Make sure you had set up a clear way of transferring information, transferring our knowledge. Because when you are not working at the office at the same time, the risk is some of us would know what to do, some of us would not. We have to clarify the task. We have to agree on the deliverables. We have to provide and let your employee, your subordinates to inquire the type of support they need. Be flexible to support them. And this is very important for leadership, for senior managers, and for HRM, because sometimes we don't open the floor for employee to speak, which I go in the next slide, and then the misinformation or disinformation would not help to progress our work and would increase the vagueness in our system. Another important things that I found during the pandemic is the control system. I read a lot that some employees already installed some surveillance under employees' technology system, which is, I think, very invasive if it is not controlled. For the control, the most important research and the most relevant commentators, such as, for example, Dr. Seda Neely in her book, Kind Remote Work Revolution, they mention meet with regular frequency, have candid conversation, and accountability are critical. So you need to make a culture of trust with your employees instead of just looking for the profit and count on your output input. Instead, you need to give your employee the trust to based on their outcome performance. So this is very important to clarify and communicate well with the employees. Another thing is to monitor your organization's capacity to learn and to give every employee a voice. Because if you want to know the risks, if you want to know what doesn't work, there are some risks that are visible, which we talked. Some are low signal, are not visible. They are not tangible, but there are employees who can see that. Especially if you are working in a technical business environment, what helps you to see this low signal is your employee, actually who they are working the work. So you give them this opportunity to speak up before any event happens. I'll give you an example. A nurse doesn't say a word when a doctor is doing a wrong thing because she or he doesn't feel safe, or because whatever reason. So, but what if that could cause a high risk to the patient? So that is very important to give this psychological safety to the employees to work better, to speak up. That is known by commentator as an essential element for teamwork and hybrid teamwork. It is also very important for organizational learning. And remember, we talked about learn what, learn how. So with that, I come to summary that we briefly learned what I promised. The flow meant that to transform your feeling, belief, and what we know about VUCA, and we know how to grow capacity to have VUCA. This was literally the meaning of resilience. Resilience is when you cultivate the capacity to have Vuca. So you can improve your actions and make better decisions next time when you are in a Vuca situation, be it in your personal life, be it in your business, a situation that is changing constantly and you are uncertain and you have you are not sure what to do. But the thing is, you learn how to gather more information, how to understand the complexity of the situation, how to resolve the ambiguity and stay resilient but efficient yet. So I would like to invite you to a workshop that I provided that is giving you a lot of examples. Those examples are from real case studies, and we will be sharing this with you, and that will be in an interactive mode, so that when I explain the situation or a case, after that, we will ask you, what would you do if you were in that situation? That will include a lot of learning about the VUCA situation and will improve your capacity, your learning for your organization to be able to have better choices and better decision making. Because sometimes we make bad decisions because we didn't have so much choices. We didn't improve so much choices to select between. Resilience helps us to increase the choices even in VUCA situation, and we can learn from a lot of case studies if you are interested. Thank you so much.
Wisdom, you are muted.
Okay, thank you so much, William, for to remind me of my being still remain and mute. Well, Roya, thank you so much for this sharing. Yeah, there's interesting sessions. Well, okay, for now it's actually a Q&A sessions. Anyone has any questions that they wanted to clarify or things that you wanted to ask about this, how to optimize resilience, you know? Anyone have anything to ask? If not, then I will start asking questions. Well, Roya, do you mind describe more on this leadership skill that will actually help us to handle these VUCA situations?
Well, if we want to go to more detail, we have to go to case studies and give people how in different situations they could do differently. For example, about communication, right? There is now a lot of discussions in the, across the world about, are we going to continue on hybrid? Are we going to completely go back to office? Are we going to working from home? And this is not only us. I think you are also heard, like, for example, Elon Musk announced that all the employees have to come back home. Okay, so this is also a VUCA situation for the employees, because they have to make the hard decisions whether they want to stay at work. If they want to stay at work, a work that is very relevant, probably they are well paid, they have a certain work environment, but for some reason, in the past 2 years, they adapted working from home or hybrid. Now they are not able to. Well, in the meantime, you have to make these decisions. What would you do? What are the choices that you have? So how you kind of identify the choices that you have, and then you try to make best decisions. These are the things that I think we have to consider, but leadership is important in terms of leadership is the one who opens the floor into psychological safety. Leadership is the one who opens the floor for better communication, who give the opportunity to their employee to be able to have their autonomy, to be able to reflect on their full potential. So I think the first step is by leadership to start to adapting with the situation, and then tell their employee how they can.
Okay, thank you, Roya. Now, recently in Malaysia, we are actually undergoing surging inflation. I'm not sure about a country like Australia and New Zealand. Do you all actually have this inflation kicking in? Yeah. Stephen, you're muted.
We've gone up from 3.5 to 5%, which is the biggest jump in 30 years.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's a lot.
Yes. It's a global problem.
It's not as bad as other nations, like some are about, many are about 9%. Many nations.
Okay. Yeah. Now, in Malaysia, just happened yesterday. One of the restaurant owner actually said to me, well, do you know, the price for the meat has gone from 20-something to 30-something per kg. In Malaysia, the price for meat. So I said, wow, that's substantial, So in a situation like this, Roya, that is for restaurant owner to go and handle. But for ourselves, we are actually in business. We are in a sort of B2B business. Inflation definitely come in, and our money definitely will shrink in terms of value, so that our employee may not have sufficient, the monetary value to exchange for goods.
Yeah.
What would you suggest, things that we can do for now?
Well, I am not a specialist in economy to suggest on that definitely, but as I suggest, my suggestion is gather information, go see what other people do, other businesses do, and what they have done in other crises, because this is not the first time we are facing inflation. There are a lot of case studies. There are a lot of articles, especially in business contents from, for example, HBR, from McKinsey, from other consultant organizations that we can use from them. And again, as I said, is about gathering more information, data that we can transform them into usable data for our business. Well, you can have a consultant to directly in that one. But again, it's more about collecting data, how we can deal with this situation. And again, we have to be constantly monitoring the situation, because this little change may seem very interesting, but the thing is, we expected the inflation. In the past 2 years, we knew that the global supply chain has broken, and plus we had some wars in Ukraine, in other places that is affected the situation even worse. So I think that is a single thing that doesn't necessarily require a single answer. That is something that you have to collect on based on what's going on.
Yeah, thank you, Roya. Well, right now, one question is actually related to business. Well, you know, right now is post-COVID. Yeah. Well, in this VUCA situation of post-COVID, what sort of advice or suggestion do you have for business owner?
I think some of the business, I see some small businesses, they are really dealing with selling their products. And on the other hand, it's very difficult now to make this balance between demand and people who are actually providing the products. I think the most resiliency is to gather more information, what they can do. For example, I see some people try to provide their products in different places to expose to more people, instead of just staying in one stall. With I know a couple of small businesses that they used to like just provide into one place. Now, not only they sell online or social media, they promote their product, but they also go to communicate and share with other people in different places. So there is one situation, what is to gather more, to be able to provide your product to different customers or clients. But there is also something that you need to accept and adapt, and just sometimes you cannot just expect a lot. Is again about short-term stability because of long-term. Short-term plan because of the long-term stability. You can't now just go based on the profit. I don't think that any business these days can only agree based on the productivity, or their selling would go high at the inflation. But also, again, I'm not a business or economic commentator. Please don't get it as a point. I'm not a business consultant.
All right, thank you for the feedback, Roya. Well, you've been careful in selecting your words to address these questions. Thank you for the response. Now, I just wanted to share my part of experience. Well, 2 days ago, I was actually having a lunch with one of our principal. Now, I have another business that is actually into this precision equipment business that is doing measuring and testing. Well, this company, the manufacturing plant, they are actually having in, I would say Germany. It's a Germany manufacturer. However, they're actually having plant in China as well as India. and their business were not affected at all. Well, seriously. Well, he said to me, in the month of February, they already have achieved their year-end target. The target for the whole year. Seriously. Well, for one simple reason, their customers are all from, a majority of their customers are actually from semiconductor. Well, you and I know, these few years, even during COVID, microprocessor industry, especially semiconductor, are actually booming, you know.
Yeah,
and
because of the information technology.
Yes, you're right. They were buying stuff. And to my surprise, some customers are really, really, I would say, have big budget, yeah, to spend. Even to some of the company, which we actually, you know, for the past 2 years, we used to have customer to postpone and delay purchase. Seriously. And those are local Malaysia manufacturer. And when we are actually having this MMC, those are foreign investment, the way they invest is actually really different. They will have, I would say, a package where they already pre-design what is needed in order for the production line to run. Okay, so I would say I'm actually seeing different industry will have a different situation of VUCA. And in Malaysia, because of this open up, and the situation has actually changed a lot. I would say in terms of tourism, there's a report saying that the business has returned back to pre-COVID situation.
So that's good news. That's very good news.
That is in Malaysia, yeah, and we actually seeing one of the you know, the big company, Genting Highland, where their share prices are actually gradually recovering fast. Yeah, recovering fast. Well, even my son today, actually making I would say joining his friends to go to this Genting Highland. It is actually a mountain where they're actually having a cool, I would say, environment. I can foresee tomorrow is actually going to be a long queue. Yeah. So I would say this post-COVID, it will be a recovery stage for Malaysia, right? And what is actually important thing is, it is very important, like what Roya had just shared. We need to have this frequent short-term plan. Seriously, reason because things actually changing very fast. Seriously, very fast. And at one hand, inflation actually comes in. So we need to have plan to handle the costing side. Yeah. At the other hand, we probably need to take care of this big insurge of customer rushing in. All right. So I would say I'm not the expert for this VUCA as well, but we have these tools. The tools that actually helping our customer and our client how to really handle the situation. The tools like OKR. For some of you, probably this will be the first time. And for some of us, it is actually a tool that is used on a daily basis. Like for us, we are actually using the tools on a daily basis. And weekly, especially today, end of the week, we have multiple teams. We are actually reporting what is our progress, you know, of each individual team, especially our IT team. So they are actually using this OKR to help us to achieve the goal that many companies are not able to achieve during this time. Well, reason being, by using OKR, we will be able to have really short-term plan to address for our long-term goal. Yeah, and how do we actually achieve that? Just like Roya actually shared, by frequent, effective communication. Yeah, and then what do I mean by effective communication from our part of perspective? It will be a communication where we are actually supporting our team members to grow, to handle the challenges. Yeah, and to have this safety environment. Okay, with the royal words, it will be psychological safety. Yeah, yes. You know, letting our team member to feel safe to communicate, to feedback. Yeah, to speak up, so that the superior, they will be able to come in to help. So, and the tools, I feel like to actually show it to you momentarily through one of the video prepared by William Chang, which is actually our performance coach. Well, give me a minute. Yeah, it is actually a tools started since 1980 back in Intel and popularized by this Google. Well, many companies before that were using KPI. KPI is something really, really traditional and very effective tools for performance evaluation. But as I said, the term is actually more for evaluation. But however, if you wanted to use it to help us to manage the performance, well, many companies right now are actually prefer to use OKR. Well, give me a minute. Let me show you this video, which I have from my colleague, William Chang. Let me see. Give me a minute. I just closed my WhatsApp. Okay, William. Would you be able to kind of play this part of video specifically handling the alignment?
Okay, on the part 2, is it?
Yeah. Part 2. Not from the beginning, but you know, from the part that you address how's the objective of a company, we can actually track and measure with this key result. Yeah, and how they actually align from this ultimately company level to the department and down to the team level.
Okay, sure. Give me
Yeah.
a moment. I share
Yes.
screen. Just a moment.
Yeah.
You can see my screen here.
Oh yes.
Wait, I need to optimize the voice. Sorry.
Yeah, yes.
Okay. Can see now?
Okay, yes. Yes, we can see now.
Hello everyone, it's William Chang here again from OpsNet. Okay, we start from the middle part.
Yeah, yes, correct. The one showing the alignment. Okay, now just wanted to share with you all, OKR has actually become really popular now, even for traditional business like IKEA. And this company is actually using combination of both KPI and OKR to run this business.
Yeah. And what does OKR stand for?
Objective key result. Yeah.
I play the beat.
Yeah. Yes.
To handle this production on Plan Z. So basically, this is the company level OKR. Okay. Now we want to align this company level OKR into our departmental level. Okay. So for this sales and marketing OKR, of course, we are going to align it into sales department and marketing department. So let's dive into these two department OKR. For sales department, they will actually need to achieve a 10 million revenue. In order to achieve this, 7 million revenue were actually from Malaysia market and 3 million revenue were actually from Thailand and Singapore market. Okay, so in Malaysia market, they are actually lagging behind by 26% at the moment. Their confidence level is at medium. Okay, whereas in Thailand and Singapore market, they have been achieving very well, which is they are ahead by 24%. Okay, whereas the revenue that they have attained, which is at 2.8 million at the moment. So the team is ready to celebrate the success of this key result. Okay, now let's break down even further from this sales department into sales individual, salesperson 1 and salesperson 2. So let's align it even further to 2 salesperson, which will be contributing towards a departmental level OKR.
Okay, thank you
so
so
for
much.
this salesperson 1,
Yep. Thank you. Well, what you have seen is briefly how a tools can actually increase the transparency. Something that Roya has just described. In order for us to handle the situation like Vuca, we need to actually improve the transparency and clarity for the team. What is the situation for now, and how our team actually performing at the various individual unit down to this individual team unit and up to the company level. Well, as a CEO or the managing director of a company, so it will be able to help to make better decision. All right, with this better improved clarity. So that will be the tools that we have. In fact, it is actually one of the tools in our total dual HRM solutions. Okay. Now, I wish to actually invite you all to come to our next week workshop. It's actually a 2 hours workshop, and it will be a sessions that I will be actually together with our guest speaker. His name is Stevie Lim, and today he's actually with us. But however, he is busy right now. I'm not sure whether is he available to give us a word or two or not. He will be speaking on this agile leadership. Yeah. Now, this agile leadership, I would say he is more than qualified to speak on this topic. Reason being, at one time, he was actually responsible for revenue of 200 million when he was with this company called Seagate. Well, so that definitely we can learn something from Stewie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I think that's perfect. You just ask Era or yourself, send me the link. I make sure that it will be there.
Yes. and myself will be talking about this winning KPI, and many people actually have this wrong concept about KPI. People will mention about indicator as KPI now. Everything are KPI. And in fact, KPI stands for key performance indicator. Yeah, but it cannot be everything are key, am I right? Seriously. But nowadays, many people referring any single indicator as KPI, meaning every indicator are key. So every indicator are important. Then which one are not important? So which means
I think sorry to interrupt you. I think the key is to have a clear difference between input and indicator, because every input is not an indicator. Input is a data that you gather, but which one is meaningful as indicator, that needs a clear definition, comes from leadership or management.
Yes, you're right, Roya. Exactly. In our this 2 hour workshop, we will actually categorize them into 4 categories. All this input into 4 different type of indicator. So it will be performance indicator. It will be result indicator. It will be KRI, stand for key result indicator, and also KPI, the key performance indicator. Yeah. Yes. And some are actually we are actually going to deal with the data input. That is actually something happened in the past, and some are current, and some are actually for future. So through that 2 hours, explanation, we will actually have interactive sessions to let our participant to learn more. And through that, we will be able to help companies to handle VUCA situation with all the key just shared by Roya. Okay, right? So I wish to actually share that page to let you all see for now. Let me see. That page will be on, you all can actually visit. Let me see. Let me type it out. It is actually in our is available in our this course. 1 minute, yeah.
No problem.
Oh, it's actually courses. Okay, let me share my screen again. Okay, well, you just type courses.doerhrm.com and you scroll down to this part. This part, how agile leadership and winning KPI can help change your business. You just click on it. We actually charge a small fees. In Malaysia, if you are actually Malaysian, you are actually paid 37 Malaysian ringgit. And if you are actually stay in country other than Malaysia, the fees are actually $9 US. Okay, it is satisfaction guaranteed. Yeah, and right after the I would say this workshop, if you don't feel satisfied, please ask for a refund without question asked. All right, so that's basically will be our sharing for today. I pass back to you, Roya. Would you like to actually have further information to share with our audience?
Well, I'd be glad to have that workshop you shared, and I'd be glad if we have audiences that want to participate in other workshops for case studies on Vuca, which comes from real research and real studies, and we can contribute with our audience to see what would they do if they were at that situation, and then we discuss about what exactly the leader or the manager or the employee in that cases did. I think that is kind of growing muscle on the Vuca situation, and it includes different sets of industries. So I think it will help everyone from HRM, from leadership, from every type of industry that they are.
Okay, thank you, Roya. Oh, can I have one request, everyone? Can you all turn on your camera so that we can have one photo that we can use for our multimedia, for Roya and also for us? Yeah, can we have your camera to turn on? Yeah, and show your handsome face and beauty face. Yeah, beautiful face. Come on. Yep. Yes, Era. Yes. Thank you so much. Yeah, come on. Oh yeah. Hi, Pravina. Okay. Hi, William. Okay. Yes. Thank you. Come on. Can we have more? Yeah. Yes. Okay. Let's help. Era. Let's help us to take a photo. Yeah. Thank you so much. Okay, I would say thank you so much, yeah, for your time, for coming to join us here. Have a good day, yeah.
You too. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks, Roya. Have a good day, yeah.
You too.
Okay, bye-bye.
Sure.
Thanks, Mark.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Stephen, for coming. Thank you. How should I call it? Wakref, Susanna, yeah, Melvin.
Era, will you? Era? Hi, Era, will you share the picture with me?
I will send you the picture.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, have a good day, Roya.
Bye.
Thank you for
Have a great weekend also.
Take care.
Yeah. Okay, have a good day, everyone. See you. Bye-bye. Thanks, Alex, for coming.
The life.
Yeah, yes. Hi, Alex. Learn something.